magnification. Hey guys, it's James here again, and today we're back with Element Optics. Now you would have seen previously I looked at the absolute top dog at the moment, which is the Nexus, and today I'm doing the one in the middle. Now this is the Titan. This is a 5-25 by 56. It's got a whopping great objective, and it also uses a 34mm tube. It's built like a tank, but how does it stack up? So let's have a look at the specs, move in, have a look around the scope, and tell you exactly what I think of this little beastie here. So as I hinted at the start there guys, this is a 5-25 magnification scope. So you can have it racked all the way down to 5 if you're doing practical shooting or if you're using night vision, or you can put it up towards 12 and higher if you're doing target work or you want to ID. Now, coming again with a first focal plane reticule inside, no matter what adjustments you make here, your holdovers will remain the same. For anybody that's ever looked through an FFP scope, it almost looks like the ret's getting bigger and smaller. It has its plus points, it has its negatives. However, for most ordinary shooting, it is great. Don't have to worry about multiple holdovers, or is it the same on 6, or it's not the same on 12. Everything stays the same. Learn that little chart in your head, and then when you're looking through the scope, you're good to go. Now, one thing I do quite like with this as well is the adjustment is super stiff. So if you are using this on a 308 or anything that's got a really harsh recoil, it's not going to bounce around or get loose or anything, and you can get a throw lever to go in the side. Now the actual adjustment knob here is very tactile. It can be a little bit too tactile if you're just using skin and you've got weak skin, some of the older shooters out there. But if you've got gloves on, it's just as grippy as when you've not got them on, which is great. The amount of scopes I've used in the past where you've gone to make an adjustment on the magnification, you got gloves on and your hand just spins around because there's nothing to grip onto. So that's really well designed, really well thought out, and it's nice to see. So, as I said in the last video, the big deal breaker for a lot of scopes, and this is where a lot of scopes don't get it right, the turrets. Now you would have remembered from my Nexus video, I rated the turrets really highly. I would probably say, from the top of my head, I think the turrets on the Titan feel a little bit better. Subjective, knowing my luck, they'll probably be exactly the same. However, the click engagement, that's just so satisfying. There's no play, it's just instant click, positive click, repeatable click, and you get 80 MOA of adjustment, which is a decent amount for a scope of this build and this price. Now, one really neat feature that you do get with the elevation turret is, again, Element easy to use zero stop. Simply unscrew this cap on the top, take the turret off, it's just one Allen key, and you can adjust the zero stop on the inside. Compared to some of the other scopes I've used, super simple, no funny gadgetry, and you can do it on the fly. Realistically, most times if you set your zero stop, it's going to stay unless you're swapping rifles, but it's just nice knowing that if when you do need to come round to it, it's going to be simple to do. So moving on to side focus, this again is where this scope kind of comes into its own. It will go down to 15 yards to infinity. So as I said earlier, if you're doing practical shooting, if you're doing air gunning, if you're doing long range target work, doesn't matter, it will do it all. Now, much like with the magnification on the side here, very stiff. It's not going to move around when you're shooting, under recoil or under movement if you're running, and it's tactile as anything. If you've got gloves on, you can do whatever you want with this turret. Your hands are not going to slip. Again, something that I feel other scopes on the market have lacked. Element have gone in and thought about it really well. Also to be found on the side of the range is the illumination. Now the illumination is really good. It only illuminates the bit of the ret that you actually need illuminated, which I really like. There's no kind of bleeding around the edges, it's just a proper clear illumination. One thing that I do quite like with this, that again other scopes maybe haven't, I know a lot do, but this one in particular does, is you've got a dead point between each of the illumination settings. So if you like illumination number 4 for example, clip it onto 4, you've got your 4 brightness in front of you, you've got one dead space either side. So rather than having to go all the way back to 0 to turn it off, one click, done. Put it back, done. It's back where you need it, it's back where you remember it, for that same consistent setup that you're using that suits you. It's little things like that that kind of I rate. So the glass clarity and all things looking through the scope. I have to say, this again, it's a 56mm objective with a 34mm tube. It's a big scope. It's not as light as the Nexus, It's just big, it's bulky, and it's built to survive a nuclear bomb by the looks of it. But the clarity of the glass is exceptional. No matter what day you're using it, whether it's during the day, nice sunny, overcast, last light before it starts kind of dropping off, if you're out deer stalking, trying to get that very last kind of minute of light before you have to stop, or if you're using it through night vision equipment, the clarity is exceptional. I've not seen this kind of clarity from a scope in its price point for quite some time. Yeah, well played. Really, really good. Okay, so before we move away from sort of the scope and the specs and what I think, it's worth noting that there are 4 reticules available for the Titan. 2 MRAD, 2 MOA. This particular one is an MOA scope, and you get what I would call the dirty ret, which has got all the information, it's the Christmas tree ret, or you get the clean one, which just gives you the basics, your dots, your ties. A lot of people, if they're hunting, will prefer that. It's a much clearer image. If you're using night vision as well, there's not so much going on in the screen. For target shooters, again, having the extra information on the dirty version as such is a really good addition. One thing I do quite like about the rets as well is obviously much like with the Nexus, you can tell they've been designed by somebody that actually shoots and knows what they're looking for, rather than somebody in an office that maybe thinks they know what shooters are looking for. So the rets, really good. You can choose those to suit your needs best, whether you're target shooting, practical shooting, night vision a lot of the time. So subjective. That's completely your own kind of option if you're watching this, saying, ooh, which one? Now, this is the bit that might blow you away. It's great me sat there going, yes, it does this, it does that, showing you through the scope what it can do, obviously filmed through the part that you just see on the side there. But this is where I think this scope kind of steps up even more. The price. This, at the moment, if you go on Sportsman Gun Centre's website, obviously the distributors, is retailing for £710. Which, for the spec, the quality and everything, is just nuts. That's ignoring the fact it comes with sunshade, it comes with cloth, it comes with the rubber caps, all the usual stuff. £710 for a scope that would hold its own against, you know, I would say, again subjective, this is my own opinion, this is better than my Viper PST Gen 2, and that cost me about 1,300 quid. This costs 710. I reiterate back to the point I made in the Nexus video. The way the pricing seems to be done here is whatever kind of spec they're sitting at, they're coming in a little bit lower into the next bracket down on the price, which then makes this an even more attractive offer if you were looking at it from a financial point of view, as well as, oh my god, the specs are good. It's a clever plan. I think it's working for them, seeing as there's a lot of people shooting. With the Element now, I'm seeing a lot on social media with, you know, different people picking up the various range. And bear in mind, they've only got 3 scopes in the market at the moment. This is the middle ground one. I cannot wait to see what the Helix, which is like their entry level scope, is going to turn out like. It comes in pretty much the same price as my Vortex Diamondback. Now, I said that that was hands down at the time the best value for money air rifle scope, or even, you know, on a centerfire, that there was. So I cannot wait to come across the Helix. But anyway, if you've got any questions about the Titan, you want to see any more, obviously any more information, let me know. Put it in the comments box below. If it's something I can get back to you with, I will. Or if I can't answer it, I can try and direct you towards somewhere that will. As I say, these are now being brought into the UK by Sportsman's Gun Centre. They're holding really good stock, so if your local RFD has got an account with them, which a lot will, you can get these to your doorstep within days, which is great. These are game changer. The whole Element range so far, it's a game changer. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.